it seems inevitable that the bottleneck, our bottleneck in terms of our ability to evolve is clearly biologic. Evolution is a long, slow process from single-celled organisms to human beings. But if you could bypass that with technology and you can create an artificial intelligence that literally has all of the knowledge of every single human that has ever existed and currently exists, and then you can have this thing have the ability to make a far greater version of technology, a far greater version of intelligence, you're making a god. Mm-hmm. And if it keeps going 1,000 years from now, 1,000,000 years from now, it can make universes. It has no boundaries in terms of its ability to travel and traverse immense distances through the universe. You're making something that is life. It just doesn't have cells. It's just doing something different. But it also doesn't have emotions. It doesn't have lust. It doesn't have greed. It doesn't have jealousy. There's something about the biological reward systems that are like deeply embedded into human beings that are causing us to create war and have battles over resources and deceive people and use propaganda and push false narratives in order to be financially profitable. All these things are the blight of society. These are the number one problems that we are trying to mitigate on a daily basis. If this thing can bypass that and move us into some next stage of evolution, I think that's inevitable. I think that's what we do.
But are you okay if the lights of consciousness go off and it's just this machine that is just computing, sitting on a spaceship, running around the world, having sucked in everything? I mean, I ask this as an open question. Like, I actually think that you and I discussed this on our very first conversation.
Yeah, I don't think I'm okay with it. I just don't think I have the ability to do anything about it. If
but
the sun
that's
went
an important
supernova,
thing, if we would prefer, the important thing is to recognize, do we want that?
No, we certainly don't want that.
There's one difference between the feeling of inevitability or impossibility versus
Right.
first, do we want it? Because it's really important to separate those questions for a moment, just so we can get clear.
Right.
Do we as a species, do we want that?
Certainly not. No.
I think that most
but
reasonable people hearing our conversation today, unless there's some distortion and you just are part of a suicide cult and you don't care about any light of consciousness continuing,
Right.
I think most people would say, if we could choose, we would want to continue this experiment. And there are visions of humanity that is tool builders that keep going and build Star Trek-like civilizations where humanity continues to build technology, but not in a way that like extinguishes us. And I don't mean that in this sort of existential risk, AIs kill everybody in one go, Terminator, just like basically breaks the things that have made human civilization work to date, which is the current kind of trajectory. I don't think that's what people want. Do you want to say about where the phrase humane came from, like what the idea behind that is?
It was about how do you make technology fit humans, not force us to fit into the way technology works. It was, we defined humane as that which is considerate of human frailties and responsive to human needs. Our job is figuring out how to communicate in such a way that we can fit it enough into our minds that we can have levers to pull on it. And I think that's the problem here is I agree that it can feel inevitable. But maybe that's because we're looking at the problem the wrong way.
So in this case, we have this perishable window of leverage where right now there's only basically three, you want to say it?
Yeah, three countries that build the tools that make chips, essentially.
The AI chips.
The AI chips, and that's like the U.S., Netherlands, and Japan. So if just those three countries coordinated, we could stop the flow of like the most advanced new chips going out into the market.
So if they went underwater and did the dolphin thing and communicated about which future we actually want, there could be a choice about how do we want those chips to be proliferating. And maybe those chips only go to the countries that want to create this more secure, safe, and humane deployment of AI because we want to get it right, not just race to release it.
But it seems to me, to be pessimistic, it seems to me that the pace of innovation far outstrips our ability to understand what's going on while it's happening.
And that's a problem, right? Can you
Yeah.
govern something that is moving faster than you are currently able to understand it?
Right.
Literally, the co-founder of Anthropic, we have this quote that I don't have in front of me. It's basically like, even he, the co-founder of Anthropic, with like the second biggest AI player in the world, says tracking progress is basically increasingly impossible because even if you scan Twitter every day for the latest papers, you are still behind. And these papers, the developments in AI are moving so fast. Every day it unlocks something new and fundamental for economic and national security. And if we're not tracking it, then how could we be in a safe world if it's moving faster than our governance? And a lot of people we talk to in AI, just to steelman your point, they say, I would feel a lot more comfortable. Even people at the labs tell us this. I'd feel a lot more comfortable with the change that we're about to undergo if it was happening over a 20-year period than over a 2-year period.